To another episode of Blokes on a Budget, tips, tricks and money savers. Today I'm going to show you how to shorten an extension lead or repair an extension lead with a rewirable plug. Now the reason I'm doing it is because the microwave, which is up behind me, there's no power point up in the cupboard for it. So at the moment I've got to run this big long lead across the kitchen every time I want to use it, plug it in the power point that's behind the camera. Real pain in the ass, just haven't got around to doing it. So by drilling a hole in the back of the cupboard, running this down, putting the rewirable on, I can plug it in behind the fridge. Now you could do a big like 50mm hole through the back of the cupboard and put the entire plug through, but yeah, it's a bit messy and I really don't want the lead that long. So I'll show you quickly up there what we're doing. Okay, so as you can see I've got the smaller hole with the lead running through, and we'll pull that tight so that the plug's actually right up at the back there, and then that goes back down behind the fridge. And I've cut the end of the plug off, and now I'll show you how you can rewire that on. Okay, now it's super easy to do, but you are going to need two things. You could try using scissors and things like that, but I'd suggest you go get yourself a pair of these. These are called side cutters. You know, if you're only going to use and get cheap pairs of them, it's fine. But they are handy to have anyway, because you know you can cut any sort of wire with it around the house. You know, so you'll use them again, and obviously you're going to need a flat nose screwdriver. This is electrical insulated type. You don't need that for this job. First thing you want to do is you want to get the side cutters. So I'm going to do this so you can see it, and cut along the insulation once. Come in again. Go 1.5 times. Like that. So now it's apart. Grab the insulation and just tear the outer insulation away. Right? Doesn't really matter how long. You can make it a lot longer to start with, so that's pretty good. Snip off the outer stuff, and any of these crappy bits at the end you want to snip them off too. Let's start fresh. Okay, so get your 3-pin plug. Probably should open this before, sorry. Okay. Comes in 3 pieces. Alright, it comes in that part, comes in a back locking nut, and it comes in the coating. So the back locking nut goes on first, obviously with the big hole at the front, so it'll screw on. So just put that over, get rid of it, there it is. Alright, grab the actual outer coating, put that on, push it back, don't worry about that now. Now you just want to test how long you want these pieces here, so it doesn't matter what one you're putting on what at the moment. So you can see I'm just going to you know, put that there. Imagine it's going to wrap around this little hook at the front, and that's a bit short, so I want a bit more insulation off. Teeth are fine, just a bit more. Right, that'll be fine now. So now you want to take off about this much off the ends of all of them. Right, you just have to practice your stripping technique, guys. You can't, it's just a learned skill. You know, you just have to work that one out for yourselves. Okay, strip 3 of them. Now, I want you to hold the plug like it's going to go in the wall socket. Now, this is probably back to front to you, but as it's going to be plugged in the wall, for me, the top left-hand pin is always the positive, or could also be called the active. Okay, so pretend it's in the wall. You're looking at it from the back as it's in the wall. Top left-hand one is always the active. Now on cabling, brown is always the active, or red, but in lead it's always going to be brown. Okay, so remember that, active, red you're dead, or brown you're down. So that's the one you want. You got to twist the wires a little bit. Okay, you got to place it in there, in that little join. There, see? So it's going in there. And we don't want to see any of the copper cable, okay? So that's no good, it's got to be in. Alright, now you just do the screw up. Pretty easy. And just do that for all 4 of them. Alright, now the negative, or neutral, goes in, obviously, the opposing one. It's going to be up in the top right now. Screw that down. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to move this camera down a bit. So it's a bit easier for everyone to see. Okay, so now we've got those two in there. Looks good. And now you just got to do the earth, which is always the bottom one. Put it in between the two locking plates. Right, and screw it up. Now effectively this is done and it will conduct current now, so no problems there. But what you got these little hook things at the front. So you got to grab your wire from behind, right, and then you go around the front of that hook and back, so it looks like that at the front, and that. Okay, so it's just wrapped around it. You do that with all of them. And the neutral and the earth, and that's it. That means when you pull, you're not going to start pulling out things out of the terminals. Now pull your socket thing back over, your cover, and just push it on as far as you can go. Now it's a bit difficult here. Now you want to pull the back cable here so that these overhang loops pull back a bit, and then you've just really got to push it on as far as you can, and then here's where it gets a bit tricky. Got to get a screwdriver, and you got to get the lip of this outer socket, right? That's a bit hard, and you flick it over the end of the plug, and you just work it. You push with your thumb, and work this stuff over. It is, you know, depending on the size of the insulation on the cable, this can be easier or harder. And just push along with your thumb and keep moving the screwdriver around so that it goes over. And then you're all the way, and it's done. Alright? Looks nice, you don't have anything big cables hanging out the front. Now you see we're a little bit at the back. I'd say those cables were a little bit too long. We should have cut them a bit shorter, but we can fix that. Just push the outer insulation and everything, just push it in a bit. Right, and then and twist it up. You'll see the cables are twisting in there, but the white insulation's now well and truly inside. Now we just grab this thing, the nut, and just screw it up until it's tight, and that should give us some compression on that outer insulation and also hold it on there. So you want that nice and tight, and that's staying there. You can even see the back there that the socket covers sort of coming out. And that's it. That's how it's done. So you can, this is perfect because now you don't have to have extra long leads. You can shorten leads to exactly the right size you want them through the house. You can pass them through things like I said, or you can just replace dodgy ones. And pretty handy, good thing to do, and it's not hard. Just remember, snip them the right length, put them in the terminals, do the terminals up. Make sure that the ends go over those hooks like I showed you, and that there's nothing showing at the back and it's nice and tight. Plug it in, test it, make sure it works, and you'll be fine. Cheers.